Hi there, welcome to another edition of Counterpunch with Trevor Loudon, the show that details and exposes the ongoing world communist revolution. Please like the show, share the show, subscribe to EpochTV, go to my website trevorloudon.com. My books are available there. I've just launched a new one very recently, House Un-Americans Part 1. Part 1 of 6 books exposing 100 currently serving US Congress members. But today I want to talk about why conservatives, and especially conservatives, should support Ukraine. In the United States, unfortunately, it is mainly the liberals who are supporting Ukraine or saying they're supporting Ukraine. It's the Biden administration. The conservative movement, by and large, tends to be fairly neutral, and in some unfortunate cases, actually supporting the invasion of Ukraine. So why is that wrong, and why should we take exactly the opposite tack? Well, I want everybody to read this new book. It's written by my friend Thomas Cromwell, Why Ukraine Must Win. Now, Thomas Cromwell is a British journalist, now lives in America, 35 years experience writing in the Middle East. He knows Russia well, he knows Ukraine well, he knows the dynamics at play, and he knows history. He understands what's at stake here. Now, Thomas deals with 3 main areas in the book. The geopolitical reasons why Ukraine must win. Why Ukraine must not just compromise or, go to a peace treaty, but must win unequivocally. Must force the Russians out of their territory 100%, including Crimea, everything. And then reparations and a whole bunch of things that would go on from that. Thomas also deals with all of the bogus arguments out there. Now, we all need to understand the Russian government has tens of thousands of people sitting at computers every day turning out bogus information on Ukraine for American and Western audiences. I just saw a story the other day. The Russians bombed an apartment building well away from the front, civilian apartment building. 23 people died, including 6 children from 1.5 years old to 6. The Russians, in their own propaganda, publicized this and said to their people in Russia, this was a Ukrainian attack on buildings in the occupied Russian zones of Luhansk and Donetsk. They not only refused to take responsibility for what they did, they blamed it on the Ukrainians and said it was an attack on Russia's friends. This is what they do. So there's a massive propaganda campaign out there. The airwaves are inundated by this stuff. And it's all designed to confuse, to neutralize, and in some cases, even to win support for Russia's invasion, Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine. Thomas also gives a comprehensive list of what we should do to help Ukraine, not just talk about it, but the actual mechanisms that can be used. But most importantly, I believe, and this is the fascinating part of the book, Thomas makes the moral case for defending Ukraine. He talks about a world of good. He talks about a new approach to evil. Remember, I reviewed one of his books a while back, The Triumph of Good, Cain, Abel, and the End of Marxism. So Thomas is a very, very deep Christian, but he has an attitude different from many Christians I've encountered. He doesn't believe that evil and the sort of chaos we're seeing in the world is part of God's plan. He believes that God wants us to be free and prosperous. That's his beliefs. And that our duty to ourselves, our children, the world, is to comprehensively defeat evil. And what Thomas lays out is really that for the 100 years now, we've really lost sight of that goal. It's been all about containing communism, not defeating communism. There were many times when America could have defeated communism, right at the dawn of the Bolshevik Revolution, after World War II, in the Korean War, in the Vietnam War, but Americans were never allowed to do it because the leaders never really believed in defeating communism, only containing communism. We saw the same thing with Nazi Germany. Churchill was the only one out there saying we have to defeat this evil. Everybody else, it was appease, contain. If we just give him this country and that country, he'll stop then. Thomas wants us to draw a lesson from history. And this is a spiritual lesson. Evil must be defeated. Evil must be destroyed comprehensively. There's a passage in the book of Revelations, and it talks about the groups of people that will be cast into the pit of hell at the end of time. And it lists, idolaters and thieves and whatever. But the first group are the cowards. And why the cowards? Because the cowards have no faith. They don't believe in right and wrong. They don't believe in moral principle. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in things bigger than themselves. So cowardice is a sin. This is what people need to understand. Cowardice is a sin. And we are faced with a situation now in the world that has been brought on by 100 years of cowardice that now must be corrected by brave people. And we have 40 million brave people standing in the breach right now. Whose side should we be on? Should we be on the side of 40 million Ukrainians, or should we be on the side of Vladimir Putin and his henchmen? In the day of judgment, when you're called to account for your life, whose side would you want to be on? So, Thomas makes the point too. This is an inflection point. Imagine if we can defeat Putin. What will that do to the people in Russia who want to overthrow Putin? What will that do with all the republics now held in thrall by Moscow who might want to break away? What will that do to encourage the people in Iran who want to overthrow the mullahs? What will that do for the people in China who want to overthrow the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, even North Korea? By standing with Ukraine bravely in faith and courage, with full practical help, could we set a chain of events in train that actually leads to the toppling of the evil empire, that actually creates a much, much better world for our kids, our grandchildren going forward? Is there an opportunity there? Well, if we're not brave, we're never going to see that, are we? This is a time for courage, and this is time for standing with courageous people. And there are no more courageous people on the planet today than the brave people of Ukraine. I hope you found this interesting and challenging. I hope you will buy Thomas's book and read it. I sincerely hope you'll do. Thomas and I have another initiative. We have a public Facebook page, Conservatives for Ukraine. It's a place for people who support Ukraine to gather, to share information. There's a lot of good stuff on there. It's not a place for those who want to come and debate or be trolls. They'll be quickly thrown out. It is a place for people who actually are sincerely interested in what the Ukrainian situation or sincerely want to help. It's not for trolls. It's not for those who want to argue every point. We've already heard the propaganda points. We don't need more of it. So please go to Conservatives for Ukraine, sign up. We want to make it a big force to counter the propaganda out there. Please go to my website, trevorloudon.com. Please buy Thomas's book. It's a very good value. You won't regret it. And please stay tuned for the next episode. So signing out now from Counterpunch with Trevor Loudon. God bless America. God bless the people of Ukraine. God bless everyone who loves freedom. Thank you.